their beautiful auditorium room for the community. We've held many other community events here. So let's give a round of applause for the Gateway Christian Church. It's a great church. I also would like to thank our special guest, Mr. Jeffrey Gold, an attorney who specializes in this area. It's not like you have a foot problem, you're going to a dentist. You're going to a specialist on this area, and he will advise you how to successfully complete a tax grievance application. Very different from a STAR application or hand STAR, and we will explain that as well. One of the common issues that we have here in Nassau County is that we have high property taxes. We have some of the highest in this country. And Nassau County is the only county that has this assessment system that, in my opinion, is flawed. And it's an issue that I have advocated in the past years. And now that we have a new county executive, I'm calling for hearings so that we can address this assessment system. It is unfair, unequal. I know some millionaires who have homes on the North Shore. Their homes are probably $2 million, but they're only paying $30,000 in taxes. Whereas people in this community, your home is probably $400,000, $500,000, and you're paying about $15,000. If you do the math, you're not paying your fair share. I've gone down many streets in this beautiful community, and I ask people, how much money they're paying, and one house is paying 15, another house is paying 10, another house is paying 11. There's no parity, and we need to produce more accurate assessments. So tonight, we are going to show you how to do a tax grievance application through the county website. You could also submit a written application, and there's no difference in the rate of success by doing it by paper or online. I'm old-fashioned at heart, but doing it online is quite easy. This is a very important application for you to receive a tax deduction. Some people have not done this before, and you will see, based on the words of our speaker here tonight, that you will be in line of getting quite a substantial discount. So I'm very glad that you're here. I know that if you watch TV, you might see that there's a lot of political division, there's a lot of strife, but I still think that this is the best country in the world. And I think that we must give respect where respect is due, and so let's please stand up for our Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. This is a beautiful, diverse audience. The reality is that we live in a great community, and there are many issues that we must address. I've called recently for an audit of the recent snow operations. I was not very happy at all with the snow removal in the last snowstorm that we had. In addition, as you see, there are many potholes, and we're addressing those issues, and different layers of government are communicating with each other to address that. I am very open to hearing about issues in the community. You cannot assume that your leaders know about these issues. And so I welcome you to reach out to my office. My office number is 516-571-6203. Once again, 516-571-6203. And also give you my cell phone. I have two cell phones. So I'll give you also my cell phone number. And my cell phone number is 516-807-0910. Again, 516-807-0910. In the last snowstorm, many people text me pictures of the streets, and that was very effective. I was able to forward that to the town of Hempstead, and we were able to get streets cleaned more quickly. For those of you in the back, try to find some seats. There's some seats you can fill in here. Tonight, we're using technology. We are recording this presentation, and we're going to put it on YouTube, and we can email you the link. So if there's something that you don't recall, we will email you the link, and we'll also send you a copy of the application. In addition, we also right now are live on Facebook, and you can get a copy of the video on Facebook. In addition, we will have Tax Grievance Tuesdays at my law office in Elmont on 1630 Dutch Broadway. I wish you could also have your questions answered there. I just want to make this as accessible as possible to you, because as you will see from our speaker, if you do not grieve your taxes, you will be at disadvantage. At the end of the day, the county must collect the same amount of taxes. And if other people have done what they had to do to get their discount, the county will take that burden from all those who did not file that tax grievance. So thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate this. This is a beautiful crowd. We're going to make this go very smooth tonight. I just ask you to please be quiet. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll go along. Without further ado, I will bring forward Mr. Jeffrey Gold. Let's give him a round of applause.
Boy, we've done what now, 5 of these ourselves. Hi folks, I'm Jeff Gold. I'm a lawyer. My office is in Belmore. That's not a reason why I should be teaching you how to grieve your taxes. I was a member of the Board of Assessors for 4 years. When I left the Board of Assessors, the rolls were the most accurate in the state. I then went to the Assessment Review Commission, and I was there for 4 years, and then we made the rolls even more accurate. Right after I left the Assessment Review Commission for the Civil Service, we had a new county executive come in, and he decided that it was cheaper for the county to get rid of the Department of Assessment, get rid of the Assessment Review Commission, and essentially there were 45 appraisers in the Assessment Review Commission. Guess how many there are now? 2. Okay, so 2 people have to review 223,000 grievances. That doesn't happen. So what happened is the county executive put a computer program in place of those 43 appraisers, and the computer program is it's programmed to actually give you reductions. So if you file a grievance, you have an 80 to 90% chance of getting a reduction. That's under the old program, but we don't know about the new program. Okay, but that was as of last year. But the new county executive hasn't yet found the money to replace those appraisers. We suspect she will eventually, and at some point the rolls will become accurate again. Right now, the most important thing you can do is file. Okay? I'm going to show you how to file a tax grievance. Who's never filed on their home before? Okay, you guys have to pay close attention. And who's filed before? Now, you understand that if you've never filed before, I'm sure everybody here has seen this, what happens is each year your tax rates go up, especially your school tax. We have a little bit of a problem with the Valley Stream, with the village tax, but each year the school tax is going up about 5% a year. Not because they're trying to raise taxes, the tax rate just goes up. Do you know why it goes up every year? Because everybody who grieves takes value out of the community. And as a result, when all of these people are successful with their grievances, the tax rate has to go up because the schools still need the same money. So if you don't grieve, you are paying for everybody that does grieve. But guess what? It doesn't cost the county any money for this process. This half of the room goes down, this half of the room goes up, the schools get the same money, the fire department gets the same money, the county gets the same money. And in effect, the county executive substituted good government for expediency. And that's just something we can't tolerate in this county. And I know you're working on fixing it, but it's going to take a year or 2. We were supposed to have a reassessment. And what a reassessment does is everybody who's grieved, you're already way under market. Anybody here want to sell their house for what they're assessed at? No. That's never going to happen. Because what they did is everybody who grieved got big reductions. Everybody who didn't grieve got enough of a reduction to make it look like, oh, we're fair. So if you live in a $400,000 house and you're assessed for $350,000, you don't grieve because you think, oh, that's great, I'm assessed fairly. But a $400,000 house in Nassau County should be assessed no more than $280,000 to $300,000 because the rolls have become so inaccurate. So the county, you voted for it. It was a good thing to do. Voted to have a reassessment where essentially everybody would be brought to their market value, fair market value, because we're required, the county is required by state law to assess at fair market value. What's fair market value? It's what one stranger will sell a house to another stranger. Not what you sell it to your kid, not what you sell it to after a fire, but fair market value, an arm's length transaction. Most of you bought your homes in fair market value transactions. That's how it's supposed to be assessed by state law. But we don't have that anymore. Your tentative market value that you received from the county in the last 2 weeks, that's supposed to be fair market value. It's not. Well, we hired a contractor to bring everybody up to fair market value, meaning the homes that were in a, didn't grieve every year, well, they would get brought down a little bit proportionate to all the houses that have grieve. And again, all we hope for is that everybody pays their fair market, their fair value, and their fair share of the taxes. But what happened is the former county executive and his legislature, not Carrier, he's on the other side, realized that on November, if they were going to reassess, on November 1 of last year, 2017, they were going to have to send out notices to everybody. And those notices were going to show that your house was being reassessed. So your house is $350, it might have gone to $500, fair market value. But if they did that on November 1, there would have been a lot of unhappy people on November 7th, which was election. So all of a sudden, the contractor that we paid $2.5 million to threw up his hands and said, I'm not ready, we're not ready to do this. Well, hopefully we get that money back when it applies to next year, where we will have it.
I'm so sorry, just housekeeping, there's a Ford Explorer, plate number AGW5790, dark blue. You're blocking the driveway, and if you park in front of a driveway in this residential neighborhood, please, I just ask you to please move your car. We don't say anything, no judgment, we're in a church. But please just move your car just for the safety of this beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah, we don't want to see the tow either. Okay, so who's ever in that Explorer, please move your car and there you go. So essentially, we're trying to get this back to fair market value. Hopefully that contractor is held to at least apply for next year if we don't pay them significantly more money to do their job. But January 1, 2019, you are going to be reassessed. So that reassessment that you get in January doesn't take effect until October 2020. So you have some time. Don't stress. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're filing a grievance for the 2019, 2019-2020 year. This grievance that we're going to file tonight, and if you have a computer, a laptop, a tablet, piece of paper, a pen, we're going to get it filed tonight. Otherwise, you'll go home and you'll file it. That doesn't take effect until October 2019. If you don't have a mortgage, and you're lucky, then you're going to get a tax bill in October 2019 that is less than the one you currently pay. If you have a mortgage, your mortgage company will get that tax bill that's less, and they will eventually reconcile your tax bill, and you'll pay less. I got an email today from a woman who, because of this Facebook group that I run, Nassau Grieve Tax Assessment Free, please read the pinned post before posting. People who are a member of that group save $450 a month and got a nice check back, which is really exciting. We have a lot of people getting checks back. Who's a member of the Facebook group? What's the first rule?
Read the pinned post.
Thank you. Please join the group and read the pinned post. The pinned post tells you everything you need to know about how to read taxes. It gives you the links you need to go to. It gives you how to register. It gives you how to choose comparables. It tells you how to find what to do if you can't find comparables. And yet every day people come on the site and say, where do I start? You start by reading the pinned post. And occasionally we get a little snarky if you don't read the pinned post, but it's all in good fun. So we're going to actually start from the Facebook page, but you can also start from NassauCountyNY.gov, which is this page. And if you go over to the e-services, right there, and you click on e-services.
You're right there, NassauCountyNY.gov.
Right there, NassauCountyNY.gov. E-services. You click. Click again. Okay. Click, and then you go. It's a little slow. We're hoping the site works tonight. Okay. Try again. Uh-oh. I think we're all right. All right, just go back to the Facebook group. We'll try it. Okay. So what we're going to do is go to the files. Okay. Your Wi-Fi slow? Okay. All right. What happens is you're gonna click on the files. You're gonna click. You scroll down. What about on this? All right, shut down. Yeah, actually, if you're on your, we're not going to be. You're going to have to shut off if you're on a private Wi-Fi. If you're on that guest Wi-Fi, I've got to be able to use this. So please, if you're on the Wi-Fi, shut down, please. Anything yet? You want to shut down and try to come back up? Okay. What you're going to do is the first thing you're going to go to is essentially a registration page. And I've handed out, everybody should have a copy of the AR1, which is handed out here. And online you get an electronic AR1. And the first thing you have to do is you have to register. And the section A is essentially your registration. Really simple. Everybody was able to find this room tonight. Everybody found this building. That meant you saw street signs, and you saw stop signs, and you stopped, and you drove, and it's really that simple. To register, you just put your name and your address in, and you choose the user ID. User ID is really simple, and you're also choosing a password. And that's, yes sir?
If we did this before, do we have to register again?
No, you can use the user ID and password that you previously had. If you forgot your user ID and password, the county will send it to you. So, use it, a simple password and a simple user ID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 works great. Your first name and your first initial, that works great. Because you know what? Nobody's breaking into your computer and reading your taxes. That always gets a laugh, but it's true. We're going to break into your computer, we're going to get something good. Okay? We're not going to take the time to file your tax grievance. So use a password that you remember. Ma'am, I'm going to try to get through this once, and then I'm going to answer every question you have. At least I'm going to try. This is probably, well, it's not probably, this is about my 95th lecture that I've given since 2002. And I've heard every question, and I don't think I've been stumped twice. So you can try to stump me, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to answer almost every single one of your questions during the seminar. Okay, are you able to scroll down? Okay, so we're going to click, keep going, read the pin post. Look at this, I tell you where to start. So go right here, and you're registered. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. There you go. Okay, register with ARC. Everybody see that? You click on register with ARC, and it's really simple. There you go. You put your first name in, you put your last name in. Okay, and take it all about email address, user ID, and password. And then you click complete registration. What do you do after complete registration? Well, you step away from your computer, you shut it down, and you go have a cup of coffee. Because what happens, if you hit complete registration, it says continue to file an appeal. But the program is broken. It's been broken for years. I've tried to show them how to fix it. But what happens is if you go straight from completing the registration to filing an appeal, it takes you onto a site where you can't get your comparables, where you have to estimate your own value, where you have to self-populate your name and your information. So you go away from your computer, you shut down your browser, you come back a few minutes later, you go to the Facebook page, and go back to the arrow home, come back to the Facebook page, and you come here. What do you do after grieving? You put in your address. If you don't know your address, ask a neighbor. Okay? And up pops this. Now what we're going to do is we had somebody who was previously registered. They asked that we put in their address. And so we're going to show you. I'm not going to rat you out. You're in the front row. Okay. And you put in your address. You don't even have to put in your zip code. You don't have to put in your town, because what will happen is everything will populate. Is that it? F-O-R-E-L. No, there's no C-H. F-O-R-E-L-I-C-H. Come on. F-R-O-E. Okay, and you hit search. Then you hit on your parcel ID. We have a capture, which is VWEEC. That's to make sure nobody steals the county information. It happened twice. Okay, is that your house, sir?
Yes.
Okay. You know, you can take down your Christmas trees. Is that Legislator Solages for Legislator? No? Okay. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure the picture's right. You want to make sure the address is right. You want to make sure the lot size, roughly 8,000 square feet. Roughly 2,500 square foot home. 2 bathrooms. Half bath. Car. No half bath? Oh, I'm right. No garage? Okay, in the basement. Now what do you do if all that information is wrong? You think about it really hard, and then you ignore it. Because if you don't ignore it, you have to call the assessor, or you have to call Valley Stream, and you have to ask them to come in and inspect your home. Or the town, right? To correct the square footage, and correct the number of bathrooms, and while you do that, they're going to look around and see what else gets done to the house, and they're going to assess you based upon what you actually have rather than what they think you had 10 years ago when this was filled out. If it's something really significant, like your square footage is off by 50%, not too many people like that. If you've filled in, the garage, I'd still probably ignore it, but it's your option. That's how you correct that, what's there. Now you look over here, you see they have you assessed at 384. You want to sell your house for 384? No, okay. And assessed value of 962. It's this value that we're grieving, the 962. Okay? Now, please just scroll down. Have you grieved before, sir? Okay, we're going to click on the status of prior assessment challenges. This is really important for you who bought a house in the last few years. You can check to see if your house has ever been grieved before. And this gentleman has done grieved before. So then we're just going to click that. My Facebook group now has 18,000 members. We're closing in on 18,000. Last year we had about 7,000 members who filed grievances. Over 1,000 filed for the first time. First-time grievers saw an average of 15 to 20% reduction in the assessed value. That doesn't mean that taxes are going to go down that much. Because remember, while their assessed value may go down, tax rates are going up. So they might not save that much. We had one woman today announce that she saved 42%. Which is the new record. We had somebody who saved 41%. The woman who saved 42% on the Facebook group asked for my opinion whether she should accept it or not. And as I've said, I've now seen her. Yes, if you get 42%, please accept it. We have seen hundreds and hundreds of people save a third. We've seen probably close to 1,000 people save 25%. We used to think that 25% was the maximum savings. We know that's not the case. The reason we thought 25% was the maximum savings was because SCAR, which is the small claims procedure you go through if you get zero and you're not happy with the reduction, by law can only give 25%. So we figured, how could the county give bigger reductions than they could get if they take an appeal? Guess what? A candidate does. So our motto is, it used to be that we were looking to file a fair assessment. Choose comparables that are roughly the same size as yours, ask for a fair value. We don't do that anymore. It's your job to get the best assessment you can for your home. Okay? We don't lie. We tell the truth. We may ignore a few things. We're going to show you that. But we ask for ridiculously low assessments. And we're really excited when we get something that's moderately low. So, first-time grievers, you're going to be looking for 40% off of what your current taxable value is. 40%. You're not, most of you aren't going to see that, but we do have 2 people last year who we know were 40% down. We have one guy in Massapequa who's a member of the group, saved $12,000. He only got a third off it, but he still saved $12,000. Okay? Now, once you've confirmed that this is your property, that you look to see how many times you grieved before, you hit find sales. Yeah, that's okay. You normally wouldn't see that. We're seeing that because we're on service. And what it does then is it searches all of the properties in the county for sales. By the way, I should acknowledge the help of my son, and my paralegal and office manager, Leanna. If you call the office, Leanna is the one to speak to, who are helping run the computer so we can do this a little faster thing. Okay, and now you see we got a little problem here. Like the comparable that's closest to his house is $599, but he's $384. So to me, I wouldn't care if that house was exactly like his, built exactly at the same time, it's right next door. That's not a good comparable because it's not going to help him get a reduction. So we're going to skim down a little bit. We've got this one, 11 Albany Street. Boy, that house looks just like yours, right? And then we got the next one here, 102. Wow, it's a mile away, but yeah, it looks just like yours. We're going to use that. And we're going to, those are the only 2 we're going to use. You can use up to 5. As I said, if you can't find a comparable, if all your comparables are $200,000 more than yours, you're not going to use a comparable. I'm going to tell you what you do if that happens. It's also on the Facebook group. But what we're going to do is we're going to choose these 2. I used to, when we had 43 appraisers, 45 appraisers working with the Assessment Review Commission, I used to tell people, choose houses that are like yours. Choose houses that are in the same neighborhood. Choose houses with the same bathroom, number of bathrooms. Choose the same style. Now, what do I tell you? Choose the rattiest house in the neighborhood. I don't care if there are trees growing out. I don't care if it had a fire. If it shows up on this Facebook group on the county site, or it shows up on multiple listing or Redfin or Zillow, you can use it. Doesn't mean it's going to be accepted, but certainly I think it's worth using. And in this case, we have 2 comparables that show up on his page. We're going to use those 2. Why? Because they sold for a lot less than he's assessed at. Well, they sold for less than his assessment. Then we're going to come down here after we've chosen our comparables, and we're going to hit select check properties and continue. And what happens is the property looks just like this. But what the computer does is it makes adjustments. So in this case, his lot is 8,000 square feet, but the little house, it's 9,600 square feet on the plot. So the computer takes some value off. But you see, it doesn't take a lot of value off. It takes a little bit of value off. So I tell people to use, it doesn't matter what size the lot is, whatever's, if it's comparable, the lowest sale, it doesn't matter. Same thing, this house is only 1,800 square feet. His is 25% larger, but it only adds $35,000 in value. See what happens though? When we adjust, they come out higher than your value of your house. But we're still going to use them. You know why we're going to use them? Because you've never grieved before, and those 2 houses establish an approximate value for your house. One that is substantiated from the county website. If we didn't have something close, these are within $25,000, I would get rid of both of them, I wouldn't use any comparables. But because these 2 are close, we're going to use them. We're going to just hit continue. Wait, you got it? And we're going to agree to proceed. Now, what used to happen, actually your tax market value is 384. So these are actually both lower, and that's good. We're going to be working off this number, the 366. What the county used to do, and I know we've had people, especially in your sessions, the county would tell you, it's uncertain whether you get a grievance, a successful grievance, or it would tell you, no, you're unlikely to get one. But what we ended up doing is we embarrassed the county so much with this, they stopped making suggestions because they really don't know what they're doing. So it no longer tells you. So you go forward regardless of whether it shows your property is higher or lower, you hit continue to submit an appeal. And we have this gentleman's, you're going to be filing before the end of the night. When I worked for the county, we weren't allowed, for example, Carrier is not allowed to file people's grievances. Dan, Dan in the back, okay. Dan, who's Carrier's assistant, will help you do pretty much anything in the county. but he can't file a tax grievance for you. He could lose his job, carry it, he could get censured. That's something I really want to change. Josh wants to change it, and so does Arnie. There's no reason that a county legislator's office shouldn't be able to help you, especially the seniors, people who can't use computers to file a tax grievance without being paid. Okay, so once you put in his password and username 123456, this is you, and these are the two owners of the house. We take that, we copy and paste it here. We do both. Okay? And then you just need to do the second one.
Now, right below that is part B, which is, in my opinion, the most important part of the application.
Correct. Okay? Whether you're doing this on paper or whether you're doing this on computer, this is really important. There's two comparables equal 366. Okay? If we didn't use comparables, we would have been using his 388 number. Okay? But what we're going to do here is his first time grieving. We're going to reduce his whatever shows up in Part B, we're going to reduce that by 40%. In this case, by $140,000. We're going to ask for $226. First time grievers, you're going to reduce whatever shows up in Part B or your taxable market value by 40%.
I wanted to repeat those last two sentences. I'm going to make them repeated again.
If whatever shows up in Part B, whether it's your reduced value because of your comparables or your taxable value, you reduce it by 40% if it's your first time grieving. If it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time grieving, you reduce it by 30%. Now, we do this because we want to make sure that you're asking for a low enough reduction. The person who got 42% would not have gotten a big reduction if you didn't ask for a big reduction. So ask for the big reduction. Since 40% is possible, I'm telling you to go 40%. Now, you're all being self-represented, and then we come to Part D. And you can ignore everything on Part D, except, and we'll show you in a minute, other facts here. Scroll back up. Okay. Part D, it doesn't matter what year the house is built, it doesn't matter whether it was an arm's length sale, it doesn't matter what you paid, when you paid it, it doesn't matter anything about Part D. Now, the reason I know this is because the county and the executive director of Assessment Review Commission did a video, which you can actually see on the Assessment Review Commission website, where she also ignores everything in Part D. That means they know that no one's ever looking at it. That Part D is only important if you have somebody who understands it and can, make mental notes and make adjustments. Nobody's looking at it. Why bother? Just skip on it. Now, the exception to that is if you're near a railroad, if you're near commercial property, if you're across from an apartment house, if there's a street with a double painted line. It's only going to take you a second or two to throw those in, you might as well do it. Part D, other facts.
It might be the case that a new gas station opened up around the corner, or in Elmont, along Elmont Road, a liquor store.
Or a leaking gas station, you've seen that. Yeah. Or, because of those of you in Valley Stream, you might want to say that taxes are high because of the IDA. Village taxes are not, because the IDA store is working on fixing. The liquor store in the neighborhood. If there's any activity in the neighborhood that's a problem. Anything that's on your honey-do list, which is significant, like, if you have to put a new bulkhead in, if you have ceilings or roofs, a roof that's down, if you need a new roof, anything you can document, you're going to be able to upload anything you need to support this, or anything you have. But anything that's a problem with your house that you think affects the value, you can put in Part D, other facts. Otherwise, don't bother with Part D. And we scroll to that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hit calculate. When we get to Part D. Sir, is there anything in anything you want us to put in the other facts section? You next to what? High school. So right in there, next to a high school. Yeah, so right down next to a high school, lots of traffic. And construction.
and the county reservoir is overflowing to your house.
So the house floods from the reservoir. It should. If some of you haven't read this, we don't know if they will. My guess is no, but it can't hurt. And it's like chicken soup. Yeah. You put it down. You know, all I know is my group, you know, probably only 5% did get reductions last year. And, you know, didn't hurt to put it down. Yes, ma'am?
What if you're next to a zombie house? Do you put
Yes,
that?
you put that down.
Good reason. You said next to a zombie house.
Zombie house, if there's a lot of illegal rentals on your street, those are all things you can put down.
Illegal rental, zombie house.
If you're raising your hand, it means there's something that bothers you about your house, and you can put it down.
Okay, so 2 questions. The lady with the computer, yes?
I'm sorry, what did you click on to pull up the details of the property? It was a few pages ago. I didn't have a chance to ask my question then, sorry.
Find sales is what you click on to get the other houses,
Sale?
and then you continue to file an appeal.
Find sale.
Do you have to do
It's all very, very
You have to do it on
intuitive.
Facebook?
Once
No,
you're
you do
on
it
it,
through
it's
Facebook.
very
You do it
intuitive.
on
It just
the
takes
website.
you from one page to the next. Yes, sir.
I'm a little confused about one point. The last time I did this was on, I went to the website. You were talking about going to your Facebook page.
My Facebook page takes you to the website. In other words, the links on my Facebook page bring you to the county website.
What is your Facebook page?
Nassau, Grieve, your tax assessment free, please read the pin post. We had to add please read the pin post because I was going nuts. Anybody who knows, I was going
One more
nuts.
time.
Nassau, Grieve, your tax assessment free. It will take you to the page. Let's finish this grievance. Okay. Yeah, we'll go back to it. But you can start from the Nassau County webpage. Okay, but if you start from that webpage, then you don't have my Facebook group and the half a dozen assistants I have on it now who will help you file and answer any questions you have. That's why I recommend you join it. There's usually somebody answering questions on that page till 11 o'clock at night, and during the last week of the grievance season, somebody will be there till midnight every night. Yeah, I know, it's a volunteer, someone's got to do it, because the county doesn't, and county should. Okay? They really need somebody online answering questions. All right? Okay, so once we click calculate, that's going to take the 220 that we changed his value to. Okay, let's hope. But I haven't done that yet. I changed the value first. Okay, what happened? Okay, there we go. Okay, so you see what happens after you hit calculate? It changes it to 226. That's the value of the comparables less 40%. Then we do something else. You see the .0025? That's the former county executive line team. Okay, the county hasn't used .0025 in ARC for the last 8 years. So that's why everybody who files gets a reduction. Last year, the county used .0015. So pretty much everybody got a reduction off their tentative market value simply by filing because the county is using a different level of assessment. So we're all going to change this to .00120. 00120. And the reason for that is the same thing we tell our kids. Because I said so. Okay? So you're simply going to change that. And the goal here is, again, to get you to ask for the lowest possible number. Okay? Don't worry.
00120.
Don't worry, you can't get in trouble for asking the too low numbers. Okay?
And that's the correct level of assessment?
That is the level of assessment. That's my projection of where they might go this year. Last year they used .0015, and we think this year they might go as low as .0012. What do? We hit calculate again. Okay. Did it change? Go ahead. Okay. And now we're at 271, and that's what we're asking for. We're asking for a reduction of nearly 700 basis points to 271. Guess what? You're not getting that big a reduction. But you might get 25%. That'd be pretty good. So, evidence the level of assessment. This is optional, but I want people at ARC, if they ever do look at this, to know you're in my course. So what we type here is the ARC level of assessment is lower than the Department of Assessment. Essentially, we want them to know that the county, we didn't have an assessor, we had an acting assessor. We had a high school degree though, yes. That was really impressive. So the ARC level of assessment is, he actually took some college courses in assessment, but he wasn't an assessor. ARC level of assessment is lower than the Department of Assessments. That's the reason why we changed the level of assessment. Everybody's going to get the benefit, files is going to get the benefit of a lower level of assessment.
So again, you're writing ARC level of assessment is lower than the Department of Assessments.
Okay. Now, we come back and we got a chance to look at the comparables. These were both good comparables, so we're not going to delete them. We can if we want to delete one here, or put two. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep them. If we want to add a parcel, we click on this one right here. Now, the reason you click on this is if you found one on MLS, or you know of a house that sold in your neighborhood, or you found one on Redfin or Zillow that you want to add. And essentially what you do here is you can have, you just type in 2723 Bell, B-E-L-L-E, hit search. Property will come up. When you click on this, it feeds in automatically into the program. Okay, it's supposed to show up here. Next time it goes. All right, all the way through. Their computer's very slow. Okay, it's going to show up right here. Now that's in Belmore, that's not a good comparable. Comparables have to be in the same school district. Doesn't matter the same town, but they have to be in the same school district. Okay, so you could be in Franklin Square in the Valley Stream School District, you have to use the Valley Stream School District. If you're in Valley Stream and you're in the Elmont District, you have to use the Elmont District. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to delete that parcel. This will be much faster if you're using your home, your home on your own internet. You can do it from a phone, you can do it from an iPad, you can do it from the library. It's just make sure you log out your information. So this one's ready to go. Sir, can you step over here and click on the pad so we can see?
Legally speaking, we can't do that, but you have to do that.
I can, but you know what? They should enjoy filing their own grievance. There you go. One more time. Oh, there we go. Now what's going to come up here is you've got an email that was just sent to your home, and this is your application number. You have now filed your tax grievance. If you call my office to have me do it, that's what I would be doing for you. This is what I teach you to do on the Facebook group. Everybody who made it here today is capable of filing their own tax grievance. Okay? That's all it is.
Now let's just say you're scared of the computer and you're using the application that you have here before you tonight. The key is Part B, putting the correct figure there and filling in some of the other numbers that we told you, 0.00120, and the ARC level of assessment is lower than the assessed value.
Correct.
Okay, so you can do that physical application that you have here, but it's about getting the right number in Part B. All you're doing is trying to say to the county, there were other homes that sold in my area, in my school district, even if they're far from your house, they're still in your school district. And they sold for a lower value than my home.
Correct. And if you can't find any comparables that sold for lower value than your home, you take off the percentages I told you. 40% for your first grievance, 30% thereafter. Okay, and lots of you aren't going to find comparables, and we've had lots of group members, and I have lots of clients who've gotten big reductions without finding comparables. Harry, you want to go out and take the questions louder?
Yes. In terms of the comparables, is there a time frame of the sale?
Yes, they'll go back 3 years. The county tells you 2 years, but the real answer is 3 years.
Okay.
So in terms of the comparables, looking for sales within the past 3 years. Lady with the short hair, and then you to the left.
And just so we're clear, a comparable has to be a property that's sold. It can't be your neighbor's house that's assessed lower than yours. You can use those as a score review. You can't use them when you're filing your initial tax bill. So it has to be a home that is sold in your school district within the last 3 years.
So what that means again is that let's just say you are denied an assessment reduction, and then that you want to appeal the decision to the, it's like a lawsuit in fact, and you're appealing it. Then you could use the values of homes in your area that are assessed lower than your value.
But it's a risk because most people are going to get a reduction at this level and you can lose that if you go to small. Now, just one other thing. This gentleman, you know the last day to file was March 1. And assuming we don't have a storm this year, that's probably going to be the last day to file. So, I need you to file early. And the reason I want you to file early is because the tax grievance firms are going to do about 180,000 to 200,000 grievances. And they all file in bulk at one time. The website was down today, and we noticed that a lot of the tax grievance firms had already started filing. So that, that bounces the site out.
Yes.
So you may not be able to file on March 1. There may be firms that are, hogging the bandwidth, and you don't want to be caught. So you need to do this as early as you can. The weekend's coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we use our old parcel number because the value that we paid for our house is lower than what it's assessed at?
Yes, in fact, if you actually have, if you can prove that you sold it for less, I'm going to show you something else. You see here, click View Add Attachments. This is after you file, you can view or add attachments. So we're going to click on that. Can't click on it? We click. Okay, and what that's going to let you do is that's going to let you, no documents found, would you like to add? Once you click on yes. And then what you can do is click on Browse, and you can upload your contract of sale. You can upload an appraisal. You can upload photos. You can upload, if you have a contractor who says you need this, this, and this done, you can upload those contracts of sales. So that's a very important feature. It's just like stapling on your application. You would send it in by paper. This is how you do it online. Now, no documents found, just click no.
It's going to have another meeting.
Now, let's say this gentleman, I'm sorry, I'm getting
right.
this gentleman, whose name I'm not giving out here. Okay, let's say now it's February 28th, and he's decided that he wants to make a change. Well, I tell him not to, but he can still come here, click on View Change Your Appeals. And you see now he's filed an appeal, he's got an application number. Don't click on it, but if he clicks on that, he can actually go back into his application and change it. So you have until the 31st to do, the 1st to make your changes. But I would file as soon as you can and worry about changes at a later date.
February has 28 days, so the first is coming up. Yes, sir. Glasses. Frank? Frank? I know your name. Did you raise your hand before?
No, I was trying to get attention.
Oh, okay. Thank you. In the back. There's a lady in the back. Yes?
Yes. If a house was not assessed properly last year, and it's still high priced, and there aren't any comparable or low priced sales, then we would do that.
Okay, so the house was, you grieved last year, and they didn't give you a big reduction. But you still can't find any comparables lower than yours. But that might mean you're properly
Not
assessed.
sales.
What?
Not sales. There are many houses that are lower.
No, it doesn't matter that there are homes lower in your community. It has to be sales. So if there are no homes in your neighborhood selling for less than you're assessed at, you might start to think that maybe you're fairly assessed. I had a guy call today who was upset that he didn't get a grievance, a reduction last year.